best of the
Commander.
best.
We got no reference. What's the plan? GSTL. Kaboom, baby!
Squirtle is the last man standing. He is the only thing standing in FXOpen's way of going to 2 finals in a row here at the GSTL for 2012.
And Squirtle has to deal with Lucky first. After Lucky, it's gonna be Leenock, and Squirtle lost to Leenock in GSL Code S Season 4 without winning a map in the best of 3. Yep. FXOpen is up with 1 game, as you can see on screen. So if Lucky or Leenock are able to take down Squirtle, FXOpen will advance to the final to meet MVP.
Yes, they will. This is a tense match. I have not seen Squirtle play too many games as of late, but when he did not look like he was on top of his game. Not the same Squirtle we saw get to the GSL finals earlier this year.
In Code A, he did really well against Mia with a 2-0. Didn't have any problems against his Zerg opponent. But at ESWC, for example, he lost to Sodov. One against Johnny Recco on the other hand, so against Zerg, still a strong player. I think it all depends on how well Squirtle can focus on this match.
Yep, the map is Ro4 he's chosen. That leaves Abyssal City as the final map if it comes to that. Lucky may just end things here though, he's looking good. I wonder if he's going to use another aggressive strategy.
It's actually funny because earlier when Leenock and Lucky talked, I said like, okay, they debate which map to choose, but it's actually Squirtle who has to choose them, so I completely screwed that one up. Well, going into the game, Squirtle has chosen Whirlwind against Lucky. Let's see if he's able to tie the series and force a 9th game at the GSTL FXO up against StarTale. The water Pokemon player starts to the bottom right of Whirlwind. He's the last man standing for Team StarTale. He is
StarTale! Squirtle!
He looks very serious right now.
Yep.
He was, of course, the runner-up of the 2nd season of this year's GSTL, or GSL, excuse me.
Said to be the best Protoss player in Korea for a long time, but then he fell off the grid after his loss to MVP in the final. He's up against the Zerg, starting for Team FXO at the bottom left after defeating Curious and Bomber is
FXO! Lucky!
He was really happy. He was able to win twice.
Yep, he may just be able to end it all right now.
It's always a little bit sad when Lucky is playing in the Code A qualifier. He every time loses in the final, which is really taking its toll. And also here at the GSTL, he wins a game and then he loses. And backstage, we always talk a little bit about his strategy and about what happened. But this time he came around the corner and he was smiling. He was so happy that he won 2 games already, that everything is going well for Team FXO. He might be the one who ends it all.
Yeah. Forge goes down here, and he's actually sending a 2nd probe out to scout. Something you have to do if you don't know about the early pool.
Oh! A hatch first.
Yeah. There is an Overlord to spot for cannoning, so he's not going to fall prey to that. He even brings a drone down just to be sure.
Wait a second. Hold your horses. The Overlord is not gonna linger there, but he has the drone. The probe is gonna see it. Lucky has to be very careful here. The drone is a tribute, of course, to what he does. And he's even getting the extractor first. Or did he cancel it? Yeah, was an extractor cancel, okay. Goes in the pool. He was scouted at the 1st position. And now Squirtle sees what's going on. Is he gonna cannon? I don't think he will, because we still have the drone at the bottom.
Yeah, he can't do it, really. I mean, he could try, but the chances of it working are just they're too low for him to want to follow up with that.
Building a Nexus now. The probe is still lingering around. But yeah, he doesn't want a cannon here. Lucky knows exactly, if you go for a hatch first, you have to at least keep one of your drones nearby the hatch that you see immediately when your opponent is throwing down a pylon. And that's exactly what he does.
Yep. Gate now goes down, of course, before cannon. He saw the hatch first, he knows he's going to be totally fine. And he may even skip on the cannon a little bit longer. And in fact, yeah, he's going to do that.
Wow, Lucky with a third hatch at 3:45.
It's pretty far away, but it's far away from his opponent position-wise. So that's a really good it's a good thing for him as far as his third base goes, defending against a potential immortal push because it's going to take so much longer to walk across the map. But the natural is still pretty exposed. That's a wide ramp.
Harding whispering in Squirrel's ear the entire time and telling him exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So of course not possible.
Is he going to cannon the third? Nah. And the Lings are on their way to check for that.
Yeah. But Lucky plays this a bit greedy in the opening and gets away with it, at least thus far. So everything going well for Lucky to this point, and of course more interesting will be what StarTale Squirtle is going to execute against Lucky here. He could go for a Stargate. We occasionally see this with close positions on Whirlwind. We've seen Immortal pushes on this base. This is going to be very interesting and very exciting. Squirtle has to come up with some kind of solution of what to do here. And I mean, going into this game and having to choose between Whirlwind and Abyssal City, you definitely have a plan.
Yeah.
And then you see this opening for Lucky and you're like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm not going to cannon you.
He doesn't get any information with that probe either. That was close, but he didn't get to see if gas had been taken, so it didn't end up being worth it. He's actually sending out another probe right now. No, he's not. He's just blocking here. I was about to say, that seems a bit too soon.
Yeah. He has no, Lucky has no gas. Now adding the 2 extractors.
We have +1 coming out pretty quick here for Squirtle. And with this, he's going to have the ability to put on pressure a lot earlier. Overlord steps over his boundaries a little bit. How does he have vision of that? I know that you can see the shadow of the Overlord on the ground, so you know it's there, but I don't think he technically had vision. That was strange.
And we have the robotics. I mean, the Overlord overshadowing this entrance a little bit and for some reason being attacked was visible. And for whatever reason, Squirtle could see it, it's still alive, was able to get into a better position, and so far Squirtle does not show his robotics tag. Lucky doesn't know about it.
Yep.
Huh.
Interesting, you don't have vision of the neutral depot. It's not revealed to you at the start of the map. Ooh, 4 gates now total. I would like to see Squirtle's Immortal push and how it varies from Harding's. You know, they're both on the same team, they practice together. Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be slightly different? Will he do it at all? There's a Warp Prism, so he's going to do a Sentry Drop instead.
Yeah, speed is going to hit a little bit later here because the first thing that Lucky did with the 100 gas that he mined was go into a layer tech. And Macro Hatch, very important for him to have enough lava for a composition that is most likely going to just center around roaches and links in the early game now. But it's going to be very interesting to see how much this Warp Prism is going to do. Will he be able to get into a good spot at the main base? There are Overlords ready for Lucky at the bottom of the map.
Yeah, he's spread them really, really well too.
5 gates, 6 in total.
There's a way he can go without this being seen, but if he does it, he's just going to be lucky. I mean, no pun intended. Like, the coverage is so good. There is a way. It is possible he gets away with it, but... And this is exactly how he has to start, going to the south here, but then he's going to have to go a little bit more towards the center of the map if he wants to get away.
No, he has no chance of not being seen by the Overlord.
Yeah, now he's flying right into the path.
Yeah. He goes in, he has the gates ready. 4 of them already.
The roaches are already in the main, so this is not going to really accomplish anything.
It shouldn't.
He probably won't even drop out the sentries. He's already just going to leave.
Yeah, he's not going to attack with this. But he still has all these gates. He's getting the Immortals right now and also the +1 armor upgrade. But he has a huge amount of gateways to back this up. He's really just going to go for a push. He stopped producing probes. He's at 51. Doesn't want to take a third base. Oh, actually?
He may. He's poised.
Here's the pro production again.
And he also gets the Twilight Council. He could try to trap these units out, but he doesn't really have enough to do that. And by the way, one of the units inside the Warp Prism is a Stalker, so he does have that extra DPS in there. I don't think it's going to be important, and he may actually even just try to kill some Overlords with this on his way home, but...
Lucky's already 50 supply ahead, which is of course what you kind of expect in this type of matchup. And
pylon, oh, that's a lot of force shields used. And gotta be careful there about the roaches.
No third base after all.
Well, if he doesn't do it, then I mean, he needs to attack soon. There's a Colossus coming out as well as Blink. He's got it. With all these techs coming out, he has to take a third base. He just needs to be very careful about how he does it.
Doesn't build any probes anymore, though. How many does he have?
53.
53, okay. Here's the Nexus.
Yeah, making a slate wall with his pylons as well.
And Lucky has all the time in the world to just establish his tech and also a very strong force in the game. Yeah, he could easily take a fourth.
That fourth right to the north, it'd be so easy for him to take. He's actually sending a drone over there right now.
He's getting droned up. He's taking a fourth base. 15 drones being built. Tunneling claws also. Burrow and tunneling claws for the Roaches.
This Warp Prism shows some utility again, and he's going to have to cancel the hatch. There's no way he can actually get there to defend it close enough. This is why Warp Prism is useful for things like this, because ordinarily you would not be able to walk all the way across the map to actually force cancel on the hatchery, but with a Warp Prism like this, you can, boom, that Zealot. Not fire. That Zealot was really awkward, probably. His friends didn't really like him.
The Zealot runs in, I like fire, and Lucky takes him literally.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's fine.
Well, the Zealot's like, he's always babbling about that, and we just thought we'd let him, you know, give his life for that. That's totally okay. With the Warpin, he actually could kill this, but I don't think he's going to commit, and the Lynx come in.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much. Range coming up now for the Colossus, +2 attack, also on its way. First Colossus is out, and with additional gates here once more.
With range of +2, with all the Immortals he's built, he has 3. I think he could actually attack directly at the natural if he wanted to.
You at least want to hit before Brood Lords are going to be an issue. And this is, of course, still a little while, but still.
Yeah. 2 Colossus, range +2. He canceled Blink earlier to get that faster Colossus out. Now he's restarting it again, so that's not going to be something he has in his arsenal to help out.
Here comes Lucky, trying to get in somehow, but the nice wall for Squirtle makes sure that he's not able to breach.
Yeah, very careful here, and the Zealots come back in. The Roaches are still hanging out over here, ready to defend the hatchery.
Hanging out, having a beer.
Yeah, just chilling, you know.
Yeah, have to do that sometimes.
Yeah, it's really nice. Sometimes the hatch is the cool place to be.
This is a summer map, you know? Having a bit of a barbecue, chilling, having a beer too with your fellow Roaches and Zerglings, that's always nice.
Yeah, it's always great. Sometimes even the Queens come out, so. Now they're doing their daily exercises, running across the map.
It's a little bit like a sausage fest though, if you think about it. There are only how many Queens on this map? 3 or 4, and you have 50 Roaches.
Yeah, all those Roaches at the hatch and only 1 Queen.
Your odds are really, really bad.
The Roaches are always asking the Queens if they have any sisters or any friends that they might want.
If you're a Roachie or a Zergling, you have to have sick pickup lines because there's so much competition.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, this Sentry gave its life to buy some time here. Roach Burrow movement, though, is done.
8 Spine Crawlers now being built as Lucky prepares for the tech for his Greater Spire and wants to delay his opponent's attack. But we have Squirtle actually being prepared. He wants to go into the Stargate now so that he can add the Fleet Beacon and head straight into the Mothership.
Yeah, with the Stargate coming through here, he will probably not heavily commit to a big attack because he's preparing for the late game. And on this map, it takes so long to walk across to where the 4th is. In these positions specifically.
Lucky is going all out with those Spine Crawlers, 10 of them building. He still has 60 Harvesters. He should actually rebuild a few of his drones. He's pretty low now. If he wants to add more... Oh wow, triple Stargate being added here. And +1 attack for the air units being upgraded.
Yeah. Probably a carrier transition here. +3 is not done yet. Nice defense there on the base, and he's just going to target this hatchery down. At least if he does, the problem is he was blocked. Couldn't even get to the hatchery, so he didn't do much there at the hatchery to the north. He's trying to get it, but a transfuse hits.
Yeah, and the rest of the Roaches are streaming in, making sure that this hatch is not dying. But these units are, they are scouted by the one observer that Squirtle has, and dying right now.
Fleet Beacon has begun, and here goes the Nexus. Squirtle timing this out really nicely, so he's not going to be max before he starts carrier production.
You know, in a time when most Zerg players are really afraid of 2 or 3 base timing, Squirtle decides to go for the long game to play this style that most Zerg players are really comfortable with. Nice wall here. Really well done with the force fields. A lot of players would have missed this.
Yeah, zoning here is really nice by Squirtle. You know, remember guys, if he loses here, it's all over. His team will not go to the finals.
Yeah.
So this is a very tense match we're watching now. Now he can start carrier production. 3 of them started before he's maxed, so he doesn't have to trade any units to get the carriers out.
2 next. It gets even 2 more Stargates here. A lot of carriers, and the timing for the carriers, he gets them very early. You know, a lot of players will switch into carriers in the very late game. Curious does this, but usually just when he doesn't have another chance.
Yeah, with 2 additional Stargates coming down, he is going to be able to make a ton of carriers.
He didn't start the Interceptor upgrades.
Yeah, you're right.
Huh.
No Graviton Catapult. And that's something that is really important that people sometimes do forget to research. There have been games with Genius, for example, did not research Graviton Catapult when he made like 16 carriers, and it actually makes a huge difference in how quickly those interceptors come out.
+2 air attack, shields are upgraded, Neural Parasite to counter it, and we have
a second Cybernetics core is
for the
coming
double
down.
upgrades.
Yeah.
Wow.
He definitely needs to get that Graviton Catapult. That's an upgrade you cannot afford to miss.
Huh.
I mean, I know that you don't see carriers too often, but it's important. Does he know about these? He has the Overseer nearby, and he's making Neural Parasite, but he has not seen the carrier transition at all.
I think he just assumes that he will have to deal with the mothership later. This is why he gets the Neural Parasite now, not specifically to take down a few of those carriers. And against carriers, what I really like is a lot of infestors, because you can't just use a couple of fungals to kill the interceptors with a double fungal. If you kill like, I don't know, 10 or even more of them, that's a lot of minerals, and at some point it will take its toll. And oh wow! That was close!
29 hit points. Well, that's how you don't get the drone glands.
Yeah, that's actually right. That's a really, really good point.
If he had that, he would have definitely been able to kill the Nexus. By the way, still no Graviton Catapult. He's getting the interceptors out, getting the carriers on auto build, so that they constantly replenish. Yeah, we also see the Temple Archive coming down as well here. He's trying to trade some units so he can make more carriers.
This is going to be such a sick late game wolf.
He's throwing these sentries away on purpose.
It reminds me a little bit of Curious up against Creator. That's a game that we had on WCS Asia Finals. So it was on the Cloud Kingdom. And you know, the more Brood Lords Lucky has, the better for a StarTale player. And this warp in the bottom left, the main base is actually crazy. That's really, really good.
Yeah, he's got the Immortals here as well. He could target down the Greater Spire.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised he's not doing that. The army for... The army for him is actually just so slow, he can't get over here to defend. Now he's going for the Greater Spire. Well, no he's not, but he could be now. He is.
The Greater Spire is going to fall.
Yeah.
If not for some sick transfuse, he has no chance. With 2 Immortals shooting at it? No way. He might also be able to get... He's getting the spawning pool.
Yeah.
Could you double check if he started researching or researched at some point with us missing the upgrade for the carriers?
Yeah, I'll check. I'm pretty sure he didn't do it.
Yeah, me too. Wow. I'm actually really surprised that he didn't get the upgrade, especially since he's focusing on the air upgrade so heavily. Look at those coming up on the production tab right now. +3 attack. 5 carriers building at the same time. He will have 11.
Dead, he's going to have a massive upgrade lead. +1 carrier before they finish for the Brood Lords. He doesn't have attack either. He is going to be facing 3/3 carriers with no air upgrades. It's all going to be about the infestors.
And also without having an idea what's going on here.
I want to like type in the chat and tell him, hey man, I know you wanted to, but you forgot to research that Graviton Catapult.
In the infestors now being built. This is getting crazy. 18 infestors, 17 Brood Lords, and more in carriers are being built by Squirtle. Squirtle is really going for it. He was still able to hide it. He's occupying his opponent with the units at the top left, but also, of course, freeing up supply.
I'm almost a little bit surprised we don't have a mothership. You could use that for recall with this force that he's using across the map, and obviously for Vortex later on, it's still going to be useful with carriers.
Especially since he has the resources.
Yeah. He just wants to max with only carriers. That's why he's throwing away units across the map. He has 11 carriers out right now.
He still has a little bit of a ground force, but not too many units, just a few. He's taking the entire right side of the map, and now he decides to move out.
Fungal still works against interceptors here.
So does Neural Parasite. Not against interceptors, but against the carriers.
Yeah, I don't think you can select those. That would be pretty interesting, though, if you Neural Parasited that.
Why would you Neural Parasite an interceptor? Wolf?
Just because it would look cool.
Because you can't do what Carbot did when they controlled
exactly
the one
what
Hellion.
I was about to say, man. I was about to say it would make a great Carbot video for sure.
Well, here they are, and they have been revealed. There is no mothership, and we have an important upgrade that Squiddle did not get.
Look at how slowly those interceptors come out. I mean, this is elementary here, really, what he needs to do.
No wall, and the Zerglings get into the main base.
The interceptors are lazy.
At the top left, we have another attack now. There is still the ground army for our StarTale Protoss player. Squirtle is trying to do as much as possible with these units. In the end, he wants to free up supply, and he does, so that he can start with the Void Ray production.
Void Rays are the next step here, and Void Rays are pretty tough to make work against this many infestors.
Yep.
I don't know how much I like this late game composition he's building, because
he has no Storm, he has no High Templars, he has the tech, but he doesn't build them.
He doesn't have a mothership, and he doesn't have Graviton Catapult. I mean, I have to continue to stress how important that is.
You usually want to have something that keeps those infestors at bay, but he doesn't have anything. So he doesn't have the upgrade for his infestors. That's one of the things that he's lacking here. He is heavily upgraded with the air army. I really love it. But against this many infestors, without a mothership, without Storm, without feedback, without anything that can keep those infestors at a distance, that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, he doesn't even have Colossus. At all.
34 infestors.
He can neural each and every carrier.
Yeah, easily, without a problem at all. And I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. He gets a little bit closer.
There's
here.
the fight. We don't have another Parasite, but a lot of infested Terrans. StarTale Squirtle, let's be careful here. There are the funnels against those interceptors.
Yep, and the interceptor count is still above 100, now down to 94, but so many of them dying here, but he still chases this back.
Yeah, there is not a single neural parasite.
No neurals and very few funnels, really.
And we still have a lot of carriers here. We in total have 13 of them left.
Yeah, this is actually insane.
That is a lot of DPS. This is a lot of DPS, but these fungals, they are certainly doing a number on the infestors, but with this many carriers around, he can just rebuild them immediately. He's chasing him away.
Yeah. Imagine if he had Graviton Catapult for these as well. This is actually really scary, man.
Yeah, but 10 infestors.
Without Corruptors, this becomes... I mean, Corruptors is not really the answer, but some Corruptors is not going to be enough. So you can't like make some Corruptors now and be like, well, I have also 10 Corruptors with this. That's just not going to be useful. You need a lot of Corruptors, or you don't make them. Making Spores is really smart, as we see here. Making 3 additional ones. That's how Curious likes to handle this type of situation.
I feel like Lucky has just to fully commit with his infestors. Go in, drop a ton of infested Terrans, use the fungals to pin them down, maybe then even use the neural parasite. If you control 30 to 40 infestors, you can get away with that, but using only infested Terrans, then backing off, using another wave of infested Terrans, that's not how you want to spend your energy, not against such a force. We have 142 army supply for Lucky and 136 army supply that only consists of carriers and carriers for Squirtle.
Yeah. You know something?
Well, okay, we have Falcons.
There are 11 Void Rays.
104 interceptors, by the way.
And, yeah, that means he actually didn't rebuild all of his interceptors from the earlier fight. Something to think about is, what about the Broodlords? They're not useful in a fight here, so why not use those to maybe harass or try to do something else on the map? Or is he going to commit here? He grabs 3 carriers.
There we go. Now he's completely committing to this battle. He's starting with the fungals. He's starting with the infested Terrans, and this is the battle that we're all waiting for. We have a lot of infestors here. The Broodlords are not going to do too much. There's not a huge ground army. Both of them dropping in supply, but Lucky is dropping a lot faster than Squirtle here.
Yeah, it looks like at the end of the day, the carriers are going to be too much. Look at how fast the infested Terrans die before they can even finish.
And the Void Rays are also alive. He's trying to chain fungal them, but there's just not enough. Lucky is suddenly losing his entire army, with Squirtle just completely taking down unit after unit, now chasing after the Broodlords. And the big deal is that FXOpen's Lucky does not have the gas to rebuild this army.
GG! What a game. And he knew exactly how to play it. It was his plan from the beginning. No mothership, that's too much wasted supply. I'm not having carriers. And you could just tell that based on the size of the map, he felt very comfortable to just run around with his ground army to the north and just kind of harass and poke around with it while he's building that carrier force. Even without Graviton Catapult, he was able to take that game.
That was just, what? wait a second. Squirtle with Carrier, Void Ray takes down his opponent, and the series is tied. It all comes down to Leenock versus Squirtle. There we have a shot of him. We don't even need the introduction. We all know who FXO is going to pick right now.
Yep.
I'm sorry, GSL camera guy, but that's not going to be an exciting shot of the bench. We all know what's going to happen now.
GSL camera guy, he's looking for something, man. He's like, sorry, man, you're not going to get camera guy of the year trying to... He's like, I know, he's like, I think it's going to be Leenock. I'm like, oh, really? Everybody knows that, man. Come on. Really, you think you're special?
I think we have another case for Detective Wolf.
Yeah. Well...
This time he might actually solve the case.
I already cracked it, man.
How did you do that?
Well, I looked at the players that are left. Let me tell you, I looked at the players that are left.
Okay,
I looked at the previous GSTLs where they went to the last player. I noticed there's a pattern that Leenock consistently comes out last. I've also noticed he has the highest record out of anyone on the team as far as the individual league goes. He's the most successful player. He actually was the only player who was, until very recently, in Code S. And when I looked at all these things, I looked at the players left on the bench, I also saw the camera shot just then, and I was like... I would say there's a fair bet we'll see Leenock next.
I would pay money to actually see Choya just jump in front of the camera. Like, it's going to be me.
I wouldn't pay money for that.
That would be so funny, though. Choya is like, I tricked you all. It's going to be me. PvP, and then he wins the game.
Yeah, PvP on Abyssal City. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Going for a cannon rush. Squirrel's like, what?
By the way, Abyssal City is going to be a tough map for Squirrel to play against a Zergon, especially not... I mean, it's going to be Leenock, so...
We've seen really interesting builds on Abyssal City, though. Puns on the low ground, not detected, then the warp in with the help of a Void Ray or two. Jungbi won like this.
Yes.
Against Shine.
I think we're going to see an Immortal push, though, from Squirtle on this map. That's what I would expect and predict.
Yeah.
And I don't think Leenock wants to play him in the late game after what he just saw.
I don't know, after this game I could actually see Squirtle doing whatever. I mean, he's talking to his team, they are talking about strategies that he could use. Well, let's have a quick look at the bench, and is it going to be Choya?
Maybe the best?
Oh my god, who would have thought it's Leenock? Unbelievable!
Wow.
I can't... That's crazy.
Anyway, I stand by my detective deductions earlier.
They should give you a medal for that.
I have quite the resume of solved cases at this point.
Yeah. Detective Wolf. Comes highly recommended.
One more file in the solved basket back in my house. I've got a file for all of them.
The counter success rate of nearly 70%. This is what it comes down to. Leenock versus Squirtle. StarTale against FXO. And oh my god, this is going to be good. Get your chairs and popcorn.
One case I don't know if I can solve is, what does the counter success rate mean exactly? I don't actually know what that stat means.
I think it means how often you win the first game that you play. To me, that's the counter success rate. If you are chosen to take down a specific player, and then if you win or if you lose.
Okay, that's what I thought. Like, basically it's saying, like...
No, that doesn't count. You can't say that's what I thought after you asked. That doesn't work this way, Wolf.
Well, I mean,
Detective Wolf did not solve this case.
I did not solve this case.
Okay.
I had to actually outsource. I had to rely on one of my colleagues.
You had to outsource.
I contacted one of my colleagues and asked him for his professional advice on the situation.
Captain Caldor?
Yeah. Captain Caldor, indeed.
Detective Wolf and Captain Caldor. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I like it. We can solve anything together. But, I don't know, that's kind of a weird stat to have, but I guess it makes sense.
Willing not to pose against the water Pokemon against Squirtle. Both of them, they thrive in the same element.
Someone just tweeted at me a really interesting point about Graviton Catapult that I hadn't considered. If you do it, the interceptors get clumped a little bit faster against Fungal.
I thought about this earlier, but I'm not quite sure if that's really irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't know either, actually.
We had a lot of infestors being caught by the Fungals anyways. I thought about it if it was deliberate, if you really try to avoid the clumping and all the infestors, but I'm not quite sure if that really makes such a big difference that it's worth it.
Yeah, that's definitely a really interesting idea. The thing is, we see carriers so infrequently that it's hard for me to judge the exact difference or the pattern in which they come out. But yeah, that's the thing I was thinking after I read that too, is that relevant because so many of them got fumbled anyways. It's so hard to catch all of them.
It was awesome to see this Carrier and Void Ray composition, but guys, it comes down to one last game. The GSTL semifinal, StarTale versus FXOpen. It's time for Squirtle versus Lena.